Okay, cool. Oh, okay, great. And then I'm going to click countdown. Do you hear that? Okay, we got. Can you hear me? FaceTime soon.
Is it just our theme song? Wait.
I just can't hear you over the music there.
Oh, I said.
Good afternoon, ladies, gentlemen, and ladies and gentle thems. This is another episode of Your Favorite Ants. I'm Kevin Garcia.
Hi, and I am the other aunt, Sarah. I don't
And
know why there was a weird pause before my name.
it's okay. You know, sometimes things just get a little weird, and it's fine. I think this program has a little bit of a delay on it, but, you know, that's never stopped us before.
Never. It's true.
Also, there's a hum in my room that I don't like, but that's okay. We'll work it out. Anyways, we're so glad to be here live.
We are.
This is the first time we're doing this on YouTube, and the first time we're doing this on anywhere else. So if you're watching this live, let's go ahead and say hello.
Please say hello.
Yeah, say hello in the comments on the stream, because we want to hear from you as we're talking. Because we want to make this an interactive, sensational, magical situation, right?
Yeah, we want this to be an enjoyable experience for you, for us, for the world.
Yeah, and if nobody watches it, maybe we'll stop doing it live. We don't know. We're gonna try some things out and see what works.
Yeah, this is the first time trying it live, and so I didn't even. I will be honest. I just finished driving. I was all the way up in Paso Robles, which is about 4 hours away, and so I ran in the door. Paso Robles, Paseo Robles. Anyway, I don't want to butcher it and offend an entire people group, but it is a beautiful area, wine country, but Central Coast, and so I didn't even get a chance to like put it out to my fan base, which is a little bit smaller than your fan base. You know, the lady who has 20K followers.
Girl, I didn't know it was going to happen. That's wild to me. Like, honestly, truly, 100%, that is bonkers to me.
Makes sense to me.
I mean, yeah, it makes sense, but also it's like, what? I'm just an idiot on the internet. But also,
speaking of idiot on the internet, this is our weekly live. Like, we try to go live weekly, but we've decided this is a chance for people to ask questions. So I want to make sure at the top of the show that we, if anyone has any questions, that they make sure they put it.
Yeah, go ahead and put it in the comments. We're going to see it over on our side, and we can actually bring comments on screen and read them. So please, and if you're watching live, please go ahead and say hello in the comments so we can see those coming in.
Yeah, because we're learning.
Yeah, we are learning, and I'd love to see what comes in. Anyway, so as per usual, every single week, we want to check in and we want to say, hey, oh, how the hell are you, Sarah? And also, if you're listening to this, how the hell are y'all? Tell us in the comments. How are you feeling?
Tell us how the hell you are. Yeah. I'm good. I'm pretty tired. I stayed up late, but I had an incredible, just really almost like 24 hours. 48 hours. I went to see my friends, the McCargs, from the Cozy Robot Show. And Mike McCarg has been a dear friend of mine for years. And so I was going all the way up, like I said, up north. And so I stopped at their house in LA and spent the evening with them and night with them and stayed up. We stayed up really late because it was just like, and not like out. I think you were laughing at me because it's not like we had anything to drink. We just stayed up till 2 a.m. talking, drinking water and laughing. And it was just delightful and wonderful and fun. And then yesterday met up with Dr. Robin, and who is just an incredible human, and their partner, Aaron. And it was one of those like really great experiences where you know someone, but you don't know their partner, but you kind of know someone, but you don't know them really well. And so we joked it was like a friendship first date for us, but I brought my dog, and she
brought her partner. So they brought the partner.
Yeah, it was great. And so it turned out just to be a delightful trip. And I actually got myself a nice hotel room.
Hello, pamper thyself, ma.
Yes. And in the middle of the day, Dr. Robin's practice is to take a siesta. So in the middle of the day, we went back to our hotels, and I went swimming in the pool. There was no one there. It was all by myself, just swimming in the pool.
Listen, that's the only time I want to sing all by myself.
Oh, it was fantastic. And so I feel like I've had a little bit of a vacation, but I had to drive 4 hours this morning, which is a little bit hard. But I will talk about it a little bit more. But one of the things that made the drive incredible was I just finished listening to Matthew McConaughey's book, Greenlight. And it's a memoir. And my eye makeup's a little messed up because I cried at the end of it.
Oh my God.
It is, and not out of out of inspiration. It is.
Wow.
It is a must read. And the first couple of chapters, I do need to warn you.
Violence.
Kevin and I, triggering in some ways because it does talk about his teenage years. And he comes from what he calls outlaw logic, which is that his family is from Texas. And the way that they parent is very what I would consider harsh and abusive, but he actually addresses that later in the book and says, I realize that for some of you, that's not how one parents, but I need to assure you they love me as much as they, were forcible with me. But it is, I've always really respected this man. And then hearing their story was just like, wow. And just, it's not just like, some people it's like a self-aggrandizement about, but he like gives you along the whole way. He'll give you he calls it prescriptions for life. And so I've got some of those that I would love to share later.
Prescriptions.
And it's great because it's Matthew McConaughey. You find out why he said, all right. It's like the coolest thing. I didn't realize there was an actual reason why.
No spoilers, Sarah. Right. Don't spoil it.
Get the book. Anyway, so I'm kind of in this I've got my notepad out to work on my creative endeavors because I feel this massive inspiration after hearing someone being very inspiring. So
come through.
That's how I'm coming to this moment. What about you? How are you coming to this moment? How the hell are you doing?
How am I coming? I'm coming pretty well. My Monday was absolutely fucking terrible.
And just kept getting worse.
It just got worse and worse and worse. And by the end of it, I was laughing about it. And I was just like, you know what? I'm going to microdose and I'm going to chill and I'm going to just watch Legendary, which is my new favorite show on HBO. It's about the ballroom scene. It's the first ballroom competition on mainstream television, and it is absolutely phenomenal television. RuPaul, she's coming for your Emmy. Just letting you know.
I also just need to let you, those of us straighties out there that are ridiculous and sometimes don't know things, ballroom is not ballroom dancing.
Ballroom is not ballroom dancing. No. Not. It is a form of dance, and it's very elegant, and it's also. If you haven't watched the documentary Paris is Burning, go stream it on Netflix so you can learn what it is.
That's on my post-it note right here to watch this afternoon after I finally turn my taxes in.
Girl, I'm not... I've sent I know how much I owe. They're just not... They're going to get it in installments, just like they're getting my taxes from 2019 in installments. So
you had the most Mondays of all Mondays, and then you made it better by watching a show that you loved.
And then Tuesday, I just allowed myself to come back. I was just like, all right, I'm ready to work. And I kind of suspended my expectations. And once I did that, everything started flowing. Everything was a lot more time consuming than I thought it was going to be. Planning the tour, confirming things, people canceling, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So tons of moving parts. It's all been fun. And at the same time, I have to turn off my brain by 5:30, 6 o'clock every day. I don't let myself work past work hours. Even when I have things left undone. Because, period. I have to have that barrier.
I'm really glad that you said that because I've been thinking about as I move into doing some freelance stuff and I move into what's going to be a non-scheduled life. And in many ways, my career has been sort of non-scheduled, which meant I just worked all the time.
You got to plan when you're going to work and plan when you're not going to work.
Yes. And the labor of creative work, for those of you out there who are in the creative fields, there's it's a labor where you use your brain all the time. And you have to recognize that sometimes that thinking is actually work. And so how can you put it away? It's just I'm really excited to try to instill it, do some practices. So how do you end your day so that you can say, okay, brain, do you move from one space to another?
Usually. So I am fortunate enough to have a co-working space that I'm a part of called Switchyards, #nonspawn. It's in Atlanta. They call it the Atlanta Work. It's an Atlanta Work Club. So basically, I have access to 3 co-working spaces all over town, internet, coffee, and a place to plug in. And everyone is there to work. No one's there. Like, I can see people. I'll say, hey, I have my work husband, Walter, who I have known. We started a house church together back in the day. So that's how far back.
If you're going to start a house church, it's going to be with Walter. Someone named Walter.
Yeah, he's also so tall and has beautiful curly brown locks and a dog who is also named Hamilton. A golden doodle named Hamilton.
So that was one of the disappointments of Monday, was that you tried to bring your dog to work.
I wasn't mad. I was just disappointed.
So that was a frustrating part too.
So we made it to the end of the week. I'm feeling really good. I announced my tour earlier today on Instagram. I'm coming through Austin, Dallas, Flagstaff, possibly Phoenix. Denver is still iffy. San Diego, LA, San Francisco, Portland, Seattle, Minneapolis, possibly Chicago, Columbus, Nashville, and then we're going to end things in Atlanta. Right here in my hometown. So,
and I'm going to join you for as many of those dates as I can. I'm excited just to be. I'm just so excited for this whole tour. I think you're going to do fantastic, and I think it's interesting. You planted a seed with this idea of wonder for those of us who are going to be sharing space with you on stage, and I don't find it. I don't think it's just a coincidence that I picked up this I downloaded this audiobook a month ago, and I just haven't given myself time to listen to it. And I don't find it a coincidence that as I'm working through what wonder means, that I would listen to a book that was filled with wonder.
Come on, somebody.
I know, guys, you got to go to this tour and buy merch. That's the other thing that you did. I love that, your weeks when you're everything, whatever, you still have the time to create an entire clothing line.
I mean, that's here's the thing about someone who's a former high achiever is that I know people look at me as Kevin, you do a lot, right? And yes, I do know that I do a lot. And the ego self likes to tell me that it's still not enough. You didn't accomplish it. I was actually you I look at the data. What did I get done today? I secured 2 different spots. I took a nap. I did my work. I had two calls with 2 different clients. I built out 2 websites or 2 website pages. I have to remember though my work does not look like other people's work, it is still work.
Yes, I love it. I love it.
And also somebody wants me to do a book tour or a book signing at their church at the end of the month. So
in Atlanta?
Yes.
That's amazing. That is amazing.
Look at God.
Look at God. That is something that Dr. Robin says all the time. Look at God. And it makes me laugh really hard because then we all look to the sky as if God is in the sky. Not any of our theologies, but it's just funny when a table completely stops and goes.
That's because we're just gospel people. You know what I'm saying? Just very pure. Whatnot.
Well, I mean, that's true. I would love to hear what your grievances are for this week.
Okay, so now it comes to the point in the show where we're gonna move into a time called the airing of grievances, which is the part of the show where me and Sarah air our grievances.
And you can air some grievances too if you want in the comment section.
Yeah, if you have a grievance, if you're watching this and you're just I would like to participate in this conversation, and we hope you do, please put a comment over there in the comment section. And
airing our grievances, again, remember, this is all the stuff that your aunts do. Aunts that you actually have that are beloved. They will shoot the shit with you. Then they're going to tell you what they don't like. And then, they're going to answer your questions. And so that's what we do weekly. So this is why we are going to air our grievances. Sometimes it's news. Sometimes it's news in the world. Sometimes it's news in our life.
Sometimes it's little things. Sometimes it's petty things. Sometimes it's very important things. We have many vast opinion. We contain multitudes, as it were.
We contain multitudes.
So, do you want to begin? I have a list. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 things.
6 grievances.
And I wonder how many are going to overlap.
Why don't we start with 1? We'll go 1 and 1 and 1. Does that work?
Yes.
Okay. So my first grievance that I would like to talk about is internet trolls.
Okay. Because for the first time, you actually had somebody like say something fucked up on your page.
Oh, I've had it before, but usually I delete it. This time, I didn't delete it. And I'm not quite sure why until I did a little bit of inner work. And I think I didn't delete it because this person made a comment about how women were becoming feminist because they were rather than be feminine and work out and then lose weight. It's easier to be a feminist on social media than to lose weight and work out. And
that makes no fucking sense whatsoever.
It makes no fucking sense. And so at first I thought it was like a weird bot, and then I realized it hit me in a weird place because it made me think about how much this person, whoever they are, we'll call them the Golden Gate Bridge because their profile picture was
fucking
the
Golden Gate Bridge troll.
Yeah, that troll lived under that bridge. That troll is under the Golden Gate
under the bridge, tweeting like on Instagram, talking to you, just like. You know,
back and forth.
But
it made me think about how much like we as people are often asked to like fit into something, fit into a body standard and all this sort of stuff as if that, and you get to decide what feminine is. No, thank you.
Hello.
Also, those things have nothing to do with each other.
Stupid.
And then so I wrote back, some other people wrote back, and they just kept going back and forth. And then they said something that gets to like the heart of why I brought this internet troll up. They said diversity, something about you need to make space for diversity of opinion to someone who was like, this isn't about that. And it was just one of those moments where I thought, I think the definition, I don't mind critique when it is constructive, like at all, actually. In fact, I can feel when it comes from certain people, I'm definitely sensitive to it. But what I can't stand is you're making comments when I don't know you and you don't know me.
No.
And so, yeah, that was my whole point is like, if you don't know someone, don't make an internet troll comment.
I mean, also
stay under the bridge.
Yeah. And that's, the thing is like, he doesn't assumed because I'll say they asked me, are you assuming my gender? And because I made the comment, I said, and men would rather say asinine comments on the internet to people they don't know rather than deconstructing why blah, blah, blah. And they said, are you assuming my gender? I said, oh, no, I just was making a comment about men. and that was the thing. Is just like, I was like, you're telling on yourself. You're telling on yourself that you don't know what you're talking about. And it's like, it's one of these things where it's a question of like, what is threatening you? And like, that's the thing. I was like, what about me and what about you is threatening to this person? Like, I don't even think like your comment, you were just talking about like, being empowered as a woman and how you're just like very happy. Like if I'm not mistaken, right?
Yes. Yeah. I basically was just saying like, I had just these two pictures. I had two books that were written about, and they're not scandalous, guys. They're about women in church and just talking about how they've been unseen for so long. Like these are not really difficult.
Not that
like, these
deep.
are not. No, this is not like they weren't like really.
This wasn't womanist mid-rash where they're trying to like destroy things.
This is not Dr. Will Gaffney, which I also think everyone should read.
Absolutely. This was like really accessible, really easy stuff.
Super. These are for me evangelicals just saying, hey, maybe we've been sold a bad story. That was it. And I was holding it up as I was talking about, and I made some joke about smashing the patriarchy. And this was for me to support these young new authors. I wanted to support them. It's one of the gifts of being an author. You want to like boost the other authors.
Of course.
And so it was definitely one of those moments where I was like, buddy, know your lane. Also, I don't follow you. You don't follow me. What are you doing? Like,
like how did you find your way into this page? That's what I want to know. Like when bullshit comes on my page too, I'm just like, how did you find yourself here? Now, granted, I know that sometimes if I use the hashtag Christian, I'm going to attract those people. It's like, I kind of like that. So like, it's the balance of how do I, protect my energy while also like letting people know that this isn't okay. And I know how like, what's her name? The Nat Bishop from the Nat Ministry. She's like, I do not engage. Delete, block, do not engage. Some people don't. And I was thinking about this, like, I think I'm getting to the point where, like, I want to be done with it a little bit. It's not as fun as it used to be. And if it's not fun, like, why am I doing it?
Oh, see, what I love in this moment is however you guys feel about the Enneagram, I don't think it's prescriptive or whatever, but we just saw an 8 and 7 happen. Like, I like to engage it, but you know what? It's not fun anymore. I don't like to do anything that's not fun.
It's true.
And what it is it is a honest reflection. And I want to say this for everyone. I think there's a couple of things that we can do, which is to realize who our work is for and who our work is not for.
Ding, ding, ding.
And so my work is clearly not for this person. And so for me, I think you can block and remove once you just go, hey, and that's not about editing, because again, it's our personal space and we are guarding our energy and we are saying my work is clearly not for you. I bless you and move on. Okay, that was mine. What's your first one?
If you didn't know, J-Lo and Ben Affleck are getting back together.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I saw that and I was like, all right, work. Honestly, like, maybe like they've both matured. Maybe they've become like their best selves. Maybe they are just truly ready to enter into like something mature. Because like she's gotten her Lifetime Achievement Award. He's Batman. Like, honestly, power couple. IMO.
Yeah. I love also how excited Jennifer Lawrence got about it. That was the cutest thing.
That's because Jennifer Lawrence was a child when they broke up. And like now she's like, oh my God, like... It's possible.
Mom and Dad are back together.
Love is possible, you guys. So like, that was just less of a grievance and more of just like I am kind of excited about that. So I guess it's not a grievance at all. It's just like airing of something that I thought. So actual grievance, semi-serious trigger warning around war and violence, etc. Israel's apartheid. Yeah. So yeah, look at us matching up. Israel's apartheid of the Palestinians. If you're not keeping up with the news, Israel has been forcefully removing Palestinians from the West Bank and Gaza. And, they invaded some Muslims, like throwing tear gas and throwing flashbangs, and 6 people getting killed in their mosques during their holiest days of Ramadan. It's just like, and people are just like, no, you're being anti-Semitic against it. It's like, you can say that what the government of Israel is doing is wrong, and it has nothing to do with Judaism. It has nothing to do with how I feel about my Jewish friends. It has everything to do with what I feel about a government political state.
I think we have to, I want to invite, that's what I'll say. I want to invite people to really actually learn about the history of Israel, because I think, and don't just learn it from your church. I've had the pleasure of both taking a class in Israel and then also teaching twice in Israel. And part of that is engaging folks who are on both sides of the conflict or who grew up in both sides of the conflict. And it is this like very difficult and woven and nuanced story. And it is not always what we see here, because the U.S. has mostly shown that it sits on the side of Israel. Mm-hmm. And some of that has to do with World War II information and guilt and all that sort of stuff. So it's a really hard thing. And I think you can both say, I support Jewish folk, and say this is absolutely wrong. Mm-hmm. And it's just, it's disturbing. And it's disturbing how some people are responding to it too.
Yeah. What's yours? What's your next grievance? You got any more?
That was like my other one.
Do you have a third one?
I have one. Okay.
Is it petty? You can be petty. This is a safe space.
Petty. So please know, guys, I'm leaving. I've been working in church ministry for the last
27,000 years. Yeah.
Yeah. 16 years full-time ministry.
1,600 years. Yeah.
1,600 years. I use a great face cream. No.
Moisturize it daily. Bien.
So as we talk about all these things that are going on, like I have this like really difficult task that all of us do right now, is to learn how to both and. So I have to be prepared to give a message and also kind of stay relevant to what's happening. It is not helpful for people to say, if your pastor doesn't talk on blah, blah, blah on Sunday, you need to leave that church. In the time of COVID, friends, because some of us have had to write a sermon and record it and whatever. And I think it's been so hard.
Real talk, real talk, real talk.
Real talk is like, somebody tagged me and he was like, our pastor always talks about things. And I was, shit, because I recorded my sermon before something had happened. So all that to say is, I don't think we should do prescriptive things about, necessarily about, if it doesn't happen, then you need to. There are some obvious, like, if your church doesn't support your sexuality, then you should probably leave. But
and so,
again,
can I make an observation / question? So this is coming from me as somebody who has said those things on Twitter and still means it. So this is what I would say is like, if the critique doesn't apply to oneself, don't fucking worry about it. And so, cause like, because it's like you, Sarah, you are out in these streets, that you're doing your best. Like you are a hashtag ally. People like, you know what I'm saying? Your drag name is Ann Ally. ANNE Ally.
Your drag name is Ann Ally.
No, okay, I stole that from Brittany Broski. That's her drag name.
Oh.
Anyways, so what I would like to, so like for me, like when critiques like that are coming from people who are hurting or like from people who are talking about, I think it's more just like for the churches who are actually still meeting on Sundays, for the people for whom it is relevant, because you're absolutely right. Like, so it's just like, if you had known, if you were live preaching from Zoom or something like that, you would pivot in a second, Yeah. So it's like one of those things where just like, they ain't not talking to you. You know what I'm saying?
I know. So maybe the message there is like, also know when your work is like just being okay with it's okay. Like,
there you go.
Okay, this isn't and when we have live prayer time, we will talk about Israel. And that will be good. But I'm just laughing because I was like literally driving and I was like, not another person.
No, and that's the thing is like, as soon as we hang up here, something else is going to break and this is going to air on Monday and everyone's going to be like, what are they talking about? That was like 4 days ago. Listen on Fridays. Come live to Fridays, everyone. Also,
please do.
I just want to say hi to the people in the comments.
That's fun.
Yeah, like my friend M. She says, I love that idea about guarding your energy. Thanks, M.
Yay. And there's Rachel who gave us a heart, which I love. And Rachel. Colin who said, OMG, the three of us. I don't know what that means, but yay.
Yeah, Colin, what did you mean by this? What exactly did you mean by OMG, the three of us? You mean the Holy Ghost? I'm just kidding. Also, if you are watching this live, send this live stream to somebody. Little share button. Okay, I've still got a couple more grievances to get through. Are you ready for
you go through them? Yes.
All right. Number 3 is one we roasted her last week, but why not roast her again? Caitlyn Jenner is a dick.
Oh.
Period.
Okay, well, we're done then.
Caitlyn Jenner, as she was TMZ showed up and asked, what do you feel about trans girls playing in sports? She says, we have to protect our girls. I don't think trans girls should be playing in women's sports. And this is, Caitlyn Jenner has played in professional, in women's golf tournaments. As a woman. And she's also saying trans women shouldn't play in women's sports. Make it make sense. And,
I can't.
And it's like, and so I'm also going to bring up in the same breath, two things, different person. Liz Cheney got ousted from her position in the GOP. And for just speaking up against Donald Trump and not willing to, perpetuate the lie that the election was stolen. We love that. And also, to get that position, she definitely sold her gay sister out, pretty much, and just be like, yeah, I don't support gay marriage, I don't support same-sex marriage. And so it's just so you abandon your sister to get power, and then the people in power, when they were done with you, discarded you, because you were no longer useful to them. And I just want to say, Caitlyn Jenner, that is what the GOP will do to you. Period. You're not, and the thing is just and I don't mean to sound horrible or mean or anything like that, but just the GOP is, the people in power are white, cis, straight men, conservative men. It's always going to be that, until it's death. If you are a woman in that party, if you are a person of color in that party, if you're a trans person or a queer person who's a part of the GOP or identifies as Republican, they do not love you. And they will use you and prop you up as, look at us, we've got the right kind of person here, until you are no longer useful to them.
I feel like that can be said, honestly, for a lot of politics and Democrats as well.
Oh, 100%. As a card-carrying Democratic socialist, I absolutely agree.
Yeah, I think we have to just believe that it's a system, and a system will always take care of a system first.
100%.
So you need to pay attention with systems. What you need to pay attention to is what's the fruit of the spirit? What is coming out of it? And
Hello.
is it supporting me? Is it for me? Mm-hmm. And I think people don't spend enough time critiquing policies and programs and things like that.
And you have to. Mm-hmm. So Caitlyn Jenner sucks to your ass, Mar. Liz Cheney sucks to suck. Last, it's a grievance and then a question. I guess actually this is my question, and this is a question we can have for the audience too. Coming up next for the question segment. So two things, and I'll check the email inbox real quick. One, Mark Driscoll is apparently being accused of cult-like practices and spiritual abuse again. Shocking, no?
Wait, by what? How can it be again if it never stopped?
Hello, somebody. But like, apparently, let me just pull up what this article says. Yeah. So let's see.
Here's the thing. I believe that people can change. I really do. But
100%.
People have to go through a process of restoration, and they have to go through like a truth and reconciliation time.
But if you never apologized, and you never repented, can there be forgiveness?
Mm-hmm. I don't know.
You know?
Yeah. And you're continuing to do harmful things. So he has this movement of churches called
Well, like his church is the Trinity Church. It's in Scottsdale, Arizona. This is what the article reads. It says Mark Driscoll is once again being accused of bullying, intimidation, and spiritual abuse. Only this time, the former disgraced Mars Hills pastor apparently has no elders to rein him in, and his tactics have grown more cult-like. Simply because their teenage son kissed Driscoll's teenage daughter, Angelo and Catherine Manuel say their family was kicked out of Driscoll's The Trinity Church in Scottsdale, Arizona. The church pressured other families to shun the Manuels. The couple says that they even filed charges with the police against the Manuels for threatening communication. Wow. And apparently, like this, it says like they're treated like royalty, and it's fucking wild. So, I mean, I'm not surprised.
It's also, I love, so again, this book that I love so much, Matthew McConaughey says, unbelievable is a word we have to stop using. It's believable.
Yes.
Right?
Hello.
Because
you know what? You better come on, Gospel of Matthew McConaughey.
Which, by the way, you should tell our listeners why you said you couldn't listen to the book.
I can't listen to the book. I can read it eventually when I have time, but I can't listen to it because Matthew McConaughey's voice is too sexual. It's too powerful.
It's pretty.
Like, what if I'm walking around the grocery store listening to it and I'm wearing like some loose-fitting pants that then reveal a ginormous phallus erect? I don't want to say another word and get demonetized later. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Well, all I'm going to say there is that this behavior is completely believable.
Yeah.
This is not.
Why do you think I wear skinny jeans? It's because I'm horny all the time and I got to keep it tight. What?
No, I was talking about not your behavior, Mark Driscoll's behavior.
Oh! Unbelievable. And sorry, no.
I think it's completely believable because I think it's until you work on your character, it's in character. This person,
he's completely doing exactly what we thought he would. He is that girl we knew he was.
You know, it's kind of like that. They have video now of the Senator Green. That's her last name, right?
Oh, Marjorie Taylor Greene in Georgia.
Yeah, you see her harassing Lucy on video.
Yes, I did.
Through her woo. And I just think, you know what? Like, again, you have to look at the fruit of that. Like, what you're making an angry, hateful, and immature sounding person. Like, it was very like, it was like you would hear a little kid yelling on a playground, and then you would go and tell that kid, hey, your behavior is inappropriate. Like, here is a child acting out. And
like
sometimes it makes me want to yell, like, who hurt?
No, like, and that's the thing is, like, all of these, I mean, we're childish. It's because, like, they did, it's very obvious they did not progress past that point in communication style or communication ability. Like, and I don't even mean, let's not even try, I'm not even trying to be shady. I'm just like, that's just observation. I mean, it's like me, like, whenever, like, the other morning when I was freaking out or, like, having my little panic attack, I stomped up and down on the ground like a child because I had too much energy. But then once I recognized what was going on, I was able to change, redirect and whatever. But these we all know these fully grown ass adults who a simple something will set them off into a spiral, and they will act in ways that seem like, are you 33 or are you 3? Are you 42 or are you 2?
That's a really good point. So your behavior that you had, that you felt it in your body, you had a reaction, but you weren't having it at work.
Hello.
And you were only affecting you. Mm-hmm. We have all, guys, our brains, we know this. It goes into our primary brain, as Mike calls it, our lizard brain. It's like literally our, like, behaves like fight or flight or
our amygdala,
like paralyzed. Yeah, right in, and that's where our brain goes to. So it's not that her instinct towards that it's that no one holds that instinct accountable. So that this whole idea of, like, if I were to behave like that at church, when people do, guys, people at church be letting me down, and I don't, like, all of a sudden just, like, throw a fit, I would lose my job and people would stop following me.
Exactly.
Would be the hope. But Mark Driscoll and MTG all have people who are like, no, that's the way the behavior should be. I like them because they're raw and authentic. And
I like them because they're strong and they don't compromise on the gospel. They don't compromise on the They don't compromise on the gospel. They don't even have the gospel. I don't think they've ever heard the gospel.
The gospel is good news. It's not supposed to be something that you throw at people.
Yeah, like it's that scene in fucking
Oh, what is that? Hold on, someone knows. Put it in the comments.
Saved.
When she throws the Bible.
It's saved. This is not a weapon. That's what.
Mandy Moore. Oh, how many youth camps did I use that clip for? Too many.
Oh my God! Do you know what? At one of my, so I was giving a presentation at QCF, and I used that, but technology is technology. It never wants to work properly in person. And so, like, I had the clip playing on screen, but I didn't have any sound. But because I love that movie so much, I have it memorized. And so I just talked it the whole time as it was going. And I said, so this is the part, there's music, right now the X-Files music is playing, and they're coming up, and they're grabbing her, they're throwing her, there's a struggle sounding. She's saying things just like, be gone, demon of evil.
You were your own closed caption.
I was my own closed caption, and on top of that, we also had a ASL interpreter who was going very fast, almost as fast as I was talking. So, truly magical, miracle experiences.
Okay,
but I made it work.
I had my sorority little sister, one of my sorority little sisters, we knew she had too much to drink because we would be able to say A League of Her Own. We would just say, hey, A League of Her Own. And then she would quote her favorite scene from A League of Her Own. And she would be one character and then turn and do the other character and then do the other character. And by the end of it, like, if we're going somewhere and we're all in a limo or whatever it would be, we would all just be, or like, we would go to these sorority parties in buses. They would bus us to keep us safe.
Oh, that's kind of nice.
And she would just, like, start on The League of Her Own, and that's how we knew it was time to take her home. Like, as soon as she could do that whole quote. And then it's funny because people have tells, don't they? That when because people will often claim they're not drunk. So, are you drunk? Are you quoting A League of Her Own? You are drunk.
What's my tell?
Wait, what's your tell? You just broke up.
What's my tell when I'm drunk?
Oh, you just tell people you're drunk. You don't
I am my own tell.
You are your own tell.
I am not a mysterious person at all.
My college boyfriend would always be like, I could take the MCAT right now. I'm not drunk. I could take the MCAT right now.
I could take the MCAT.
Like,
Jesus. I could take the MCAT right now. I couldn't. Yeah, so I think that that concludes.
Does that wind down our season of airing our grievances?
Yeah, our session. I would like to say case closed.
On our grievances. I love it. Okay, now we go to the section where we take questions from folks and we give them opinions, is really what we do.
Yes, so there are two things I'm looking for opinions on right now. So two things. And you can answer in the comments if you're watching this live. And also, if you have questions about anything, relationship, spirituality, please just enter it in the comments. Or if you have my number, you can text me. Or you can... I mean, I do have one question from the text line. It's very, very simple. And then I just have one from my own personal life, which I'd like to pose to everyone. The CDC said yesterday... that if you are fully vaccinated, you no longer have to wear a mask indoors, outdoors, any places. If I believe that correctly, what I heard, is that what you heard?
If you heard, yes, that is what I heard, and
I didn't. Unbelievable.
Matthew McConaughey would say no. I'm just kidding. I think, yeah, that's exactly what I heard, but it has been very. Does it make you uncomfortable?
A little bit. Like, it's like, because like the other day I thought like the whole thing was just like, we're trying to get to herd immunity. And if we don't get to herd immunity, like all these variants are going to come through and spread again, like, which is still a very real possibility.
Right. So then my question is, if you live in an area where people won't get vaccinated, which by the way, like, I just heard a scary, from the South, heard a scary statistic of, someone working in a medical institute telling me that their staff only has 20% of their staff will get the vaccine, only 20%. So that is like risking all of your patients, which, okay, how obviously we already know people who listen to this podcast are going to be the people who would get vaccinated. So then the question then becomes, how do we know someone's vaccinated? Because, like, I guess I don't know if the microchip they put in us, if it scans or not.
I don't know if the 5G works with every phone or if it's, like, Bluetooth. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know how it works. Or, like, does it, like, open, like, when I go to Stagecoach? This is me giving a weird flex, but I just said I'm giving weird flex, so I gave it away. But, you know, when I go to Stagecoach, because my friends are sound people, and I get to, like, just walk through the gates because of the special wristbands we have. Is that what it's like? Because of our special... like thing they implanted in us, now we can just go wherever. I just feel like I'm still not going to be comfortable because I'm not going to think people are vaxxed.
Yeah, because that's the thing is like, apparently, like, you know, one can still carry the virus even though it's like not active in their body, and you can accidentally pass it on to somebody who has pre-existing conditions and can't get vaxxed for whatever reason. Like here, M says...
what about kids not being able to get vaxxed?
Exactly. It says my kid's not old enough to get vaxxed. So what the fuck, CDC? That's a very good point. Rachel's also saying, I've heard the same about vaccinated people not needing to wear masks, but our companies haven't changed their policies. We're still wearing masks. And that's the places I'm seeing like most of the time. Like, and I'm also like, if the grocery says keep a mask on, absolutely.
Yeah. And I think there's like grocery stores, restaurants, and it's also, we're learning more about the virus. People are like, why does the CDC keep changing their rules? It's because they're getting more and more experiments. So it's interesting because the same people out of one side of the mouth will be like, they're changing the rules. So clearly they don't know what they're doing. And then they're like, but they haven't done enough experimentation to know what they're doing. I'm like, that's how this thing works. But okay.
Yeah.
It's called science.
Yeah. It's just like new information leads to new conclusions they're giving to us. I assume the best way to know it. And also that information can change. So, like, the thing I'm anticipating is, like, I don't want to get my hopes up that this is going to last long, you know?
The no masks?
Yeah, I mean, I hate
Also, can I just for a minute...
No, you can't for any minute. Yes, you can.
Please?
Yes.
Admit that there's a little part of me... Oh, how do people think this? There's a little part of me that's self-righteous and wants I want to have a mask on so people know I'm one of the good people.
Someone else told me this earlier today. I don't want to be considered like an anti-masker because they're not wearing a mask, even though the CDC says we don't have to wear the masks anymore.
I know.
I personally don't. I don't care how people perceive me. I just want people to feel comfortable around me, you know?
Right.
And I was walking. Yeah, I want people to feel safe around me. I want people to know, like, it's all right. So, I don't know.
Thank you, people in the comments, for saying you too. I know that, and I'm not sure if you guys on different. So I know some people said they could only see 3 people on. So it might be what medium you're watching it on. You can. I don't know if they can only see those comments. Yeah. But a lot of people are saying
they might just be on YouTube because that's where all the comments are coming from.
Yeah, you're reading my mind. Like, you're relatable. Yes. Thank you for people a little self. Which then is performative, and we should never be doing things for performative reasons unless you're performing.
I will always. What if I want to perform? I don't know.
Life is but a stage, and we are but actors. Shakespeare, you're welcome.
Yeah, he was really smart. He had some things going on.
He, and by she, because a lot of people think his wife wrote most of his stuff.
I mean, I'm not shocked. Like, men are terrible. They've been stealing shit forever.
Okay, I just said wife. I don't know that it was his wife, but someone in his life that was female.
Don't worry. Not his wife, but maybe someone in his life. I'm trying to see if there's any, like, if there's, like, on something on YouTube or on Facebook I can see, because it's supposed to be streaming live to Facebook too. But I don't see it on Facebook, so we'll have to check that connection later.
Guys, again, we just are learning this, which is so fun because there's going to be so much more interactive stuff, like week to week. It's just going to get better. So if you're listening to this later being recorded, guys, knock off work early on Fridays and join us here for your favorite dance.
I think you should. I absolutely think you should. But that was like really like my question. And the other question I had from somebody says like, how do you deal with loneliness? And I said, I don't fucking know. I'm lonely myself. I smoke a lot of weed, honestly.
Yeah, I think that is a really important question for us to ask, because I had this moment when I was at my friend's house the other night where I was like, this feels very connected, and I'm trying to be very aware of how my body feels in moments lately. And I was like, I feel very connected. I feel very present. I feel all these things. And I was like, oh, because I felt the opposite of that lately. But I will say, how do you deal with loneliness? For me, it's being honest about it.
Start there.
Being honest myself and being honest with the people in my life. And I know for me, I feel like a burden when I tell people I'm lonely, but to be able to be honest with myself and say, you know, honestly, it's like we're always going to be by ourselves. Something else that Saint McConaughey said is like, you go to bed, you can go to bed with lots of people. You can go to bed with lots of people. And then he's like, and I have, but you still are with yourself. And he's done all these different like life transition walkabout things that he does so that he can be fully with other people, because he knows how to be by himself. And his point is like, you are always by yourself. So sometimes loneliness is a disconnection from yourself. And sometimes it's the need to like get really like start to like your company. And yet also that doesn't mean you have to stay in liking your company. So some actual tangible things to avoid loneliness. I texted Kevin the sappiest text message the other day because I was working on my gratitude. I have a gratitude list that I keep, and it is an app called Gratitude. Again, not sponsored, but
if you want to, you can.
But if you want to do gratitude, absolutely. It lets you write. It asks a prompting question about gratitude every day, and then you can keep photos in there, and then it just keeps a running diary of your gratitude, and it reminds you to do it twice a day. For me, anyway. So I was thinking about how grateful and how much my life has changed over the last year because you and I talk daily, and we don't just talk daily, we FaceTime daily, which
multiple times.
Right. I'm realizing as someone who is just learning about their attention deficit disorder as an adult, I didn't realize how much I can be more present to you because you and I are looking at each other. So if you are lonely, friends, you need to be looking at other people.
Use your FaceTime machines. Use your Google Chat machines.
Or now you can actually be with real people if you're vaccinated, and be around people. I think I think you should also investigate too if some of this loneliness might actually be depression and sadness. Again, I think those are really hard because someone who's experiencing actual depression, again, we are not healthcare professionals. We've just both gone to a lot of therapy. I've taken classes in it, but doesn't mean I am. Don't use this instead of going and getting better health.
Again, as per all of our advice, we are pastoral care professionals. We are not medical professionals nor mental health professionals, but we are professionally badass.
But we have stayed at a Holiday Inn. But there is, I think it's really important to note that when someone is experiencing depression, they can't feel connected to other people. It's almost impossible.
Yeah, it's just like it's hard. It's like that's why you have to like. Sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say I think investigating what's the root of and being okay with like looking it in the face, looking what is this loneliness, and then also I would invite you. This is something a therapist I once had. They said, I want you to write a list of the times when you felt most connected to someone. And like, just like be as specific as you can. Like, I felt connected to this person having dinner and it was this moment. And what it did, it was interesting, is it changed my mindset about like being really aware of when we feel connected to people. Yeah. So that's why I wrote you that sappy text message about how, like, I feel like it's been absolutely life-changing for me to have someone in the midst of all this that I know I'm checking in with every day. Because sometimes, especially as someone who lives alone, sorry, Tenor, I don't live alone. I have a dog.
Dogs don't speak English, though. It's different.
It's true. I think that it is really easy for us to get, really into our heads and alone and feel lonely. And we need some opposing voices. Voices that are willing to be with us and also to both hold space and also to speak back to your bullshit. We need both. A balance. Yes. Balance. What do other people do for staving off loneliness? People who are watching live. I want to know. What do you do, Kev?
To stave off loneliness. Well, I don't try to stave off loneliness. I just note it because loneliness is just showing me that it's just a feeling. I'm not afraid of it anymore because it comes and goes like every other feeling. I know it's not going to last forever. And when I am feeling lonely, my next question is always, what am I going to do to make myself feel better? How do I make myself feel better in my body? Not just because like a lot of people are like, I can meditate. They think that happiness and comfort is a mental exercise. It's not always a mental exercise. A lot of times it's a physical exercise. And so I think, okay, do I need to, first of all, to go through my self-care checklist? Have I eaten? Have I taken my meds? Have I reached out for people if I need people? Do I need to drink some water? It's like, okay, so I've done the self-care things. What would make me feel good? Maybe I should make a delicious meal. Maybe I should go sit in the sun. Maybe I should smoke a J. Maybe I should, I don't know, think about poetry. I don't know. Maybe I should just like binge and watch some television. What is going to make you feel good? And I'm not saying like if your thing that makes you feel good is like super destructive, like I'm just going to go do some meth. Maybe not. Maybe think like because like if your habit is super duper destructive, because that's another thing. Like if your like alcoholics will say like like if that thing is causing you to destroy your life and the lives of those around you. Maybe don't do that. Maybe ask for help. Maybe because that tells me if you're at that point, you haven't done the first 5 things. You haven't gone through your self-care checklist. If you are, because that's the thing. Just like it's never an excuse. Like if you go into excess and you get drunk because you're sad, sure, not a great thing. But also don't beat yourself up that you got a little drunk. It's like. And just like be really honest with yourself, like if it's severely causing you distress and dis-ease and discomfort in your life, then maybe talk to somebody about what it might look like to get sober. I have plenty of sober friends who are the most incredible people and do not miss it. And so allow yourself a little bit of space. A lot of times that behavior too is masking. So maybe it is masking loneliness. Maybe it is masking the thing behind the thing. And I love Rachel's response that my first response to loneliness is always to find a dog to pet. We joked earlier about Tenor not being able to. The other things I have noticed, because I look over my gratitude list when I get into a hard place, I look over the list of things, is
that I am so grateful that during this time I've had, for me, having an animal has been just absolutely life-changing and life-giving, in that he has given me rhythm to my day. Again, it's like that pattern of we get up every morning and we go for a walk. And it's like, I know that whatever happens the day before, we're going to get up and go for a walk in the morning, and it moves my body and it moves his body. And then in the evening, we go for a walk. And it's like it's beginning and ending day, but I think it's been helpful to feel grounded and to feel, as a person who needs to feel purpose all the time, and sometimes that means overworking has been really easy. It's nice to have something that needs me to not be working all the time. I can't check my emails if I'm walking my dog.
That's really good. I'm proud of you, Sarah.
Mm-hmm. Thank you. I'm proud of you.
It's getting close to, it's over an hour.
Yeah.
And I have to go. I'm actually going to get beers and hot dogs with a friend of mine at Red's.
I love that.
So that's what I'm doing with my evening. What are you doing with your Friday night, Sarah?
I actually have got to record an intro to, I'm pretty excited about this week's episode of Making Spaces. We interviewed two of my best friends who are in the medical field, both people who chose the career after 35. So my best guy friend who was on this show before, and then my friend Crystal. So that's what I'm doing. I'm going to be doing that. And then I'm going to sit with my giant sticky note and come up with what I want my life to look like. Thank you, Saint McConaughey.
Yay. I'm excited about the things coming up this week. I am launching my summer cohort Coven. I am going on tour. You can get all that stuff at thekevingarcia.com and follow me across social media at thekevingarcia. Sarah, where do they follow you?
You can follow me on all things social at Rev Sarah Heath. And I'm really excited about the fact that I am 7 weeks away from changing my life.
Yeah.
And every morning I wake up nervous, but I know that something new is coming and I'm excited about it.
Every morning I wake up nervous.
It's true. I wake up and I'm like, oh God. I think that's good.
I mean, listen, if you weren't nervous, it means you don't care. That's what my mama always said.
Great.
Yeah, we love it. If you like the show, please subscribe, rate it in Apple Podcasts, and please follow us. Reverend_FM is the name of our network. We're going to get some more shit out there with that for sure.
Yep,
definitely.
So great. So make sure to take care of yourselves and make good decisions this week.
Make good choices. Make sure that you do something nice for yourself. And don't worry, you're a wonderful and special person, even if you're a dummy. That's what my aunt would tell me. Okay. Well, thanks for tuning in, everyone. We love you. Have a great week. Bye.
Bye.